Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Veena ji, will you first do the Gita Dhyana shlokas first? Then after that, we'll start with the homework.
Yes, sir. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्धदामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् नमोऽस्तु ते व्यासविशालबुद्धे पुल्लारविन्दायकपत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयः प्रदीपः प्रपन्नपारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दोग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्सः सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं भीष्मद्रोणतटा जयद्रथजला गान्धारनीलोत्पला शल्यग्राहवती कृपेण महनी कर्णेन वेलाकुला अश्वत्थामविकर्णघोरमकरा दुर्योधनावर्तिनी सोत्तीर्णा खलु पाण्डवैरणनदि कैवर्तकः केशवः पाराशर्यवचः सरोजममलं गीतार्थगन्धोत्कटं नानाख्यानककेसरं हरिकथा सम्बोधनाबोधितं लोके सज्जनषट्पदैरहरः पेपीयमानं मुदा भूयाद्भारतपङ्कजं कलिमल प्रध्वंसिनः श्रेयसे मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुत स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो यस्यान्तं न विदुसुरासुरगणा देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः।
Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. Harihi Om. So, yes, please. Homework. Start with you, Veena ji.
So you asked that how do we express our these behaviors which are shown in the verse number 15, 16, 17, 18 and 19. How can we show that apply in our day-to-day life?
Okay.
So it is, see, even I had seen the behavioral changes in my life in many incidents after joining your class. So whenever you tell the story, so I keep myself, okay, same thing happened in my life. Oh, I reacted in very rude manner. I should not do that. I'm not supposed to do that. Okay, so each and every time when I face the same thing or in a different manner. So as you told, think twice, be calm, and just ask yourself where it hurt, whether it's hurt on your ego or where it is hurt. So then calmly I see the changes. Then somewhere earlier I used to react in each and every if someone tells something, I say I should react for that. Now it is okay. It is so reacting is not necessary. Okay, so like that I have seen even the emotionally also I was very much weak, and saying that if my daughters are not well, and see now the behavior changes in, I say that okay, as you told karma in the part of earlier, that whatever we do like rasgulla, it is in our baggage, we carry that in each and every step. So that also each and every step I feel that okay, if someone does okay, it is there karma, or I did something for in some day, so that comes to me in that okay, that one weightage is reduced now. So it is how I compare it in each and every step. So this is how that I apply in my life.
Okay. Any thoughts, Parthada, Raghuji?
So, if I may,
Yes, please.
yeah. So, one of the things that I realized, especially in the verses 13 and 14, when they talk about the 10 qualities, um, I actually realized, I mean, when you go to Aprokshavanubhuti and you have the 15 steps mentioned by Shankaracharya, and he relates each and every step back to the complete merging with the Parabrahman. And he says, Mula Bandha, Asana, what is he talking about? Again, you are talking about being completely immersed in the Parabrahman and being the Parabrahman. And when you do that, Gurudev, in his Bhashyam, he mentions, when you do that, all the other things that Patanjali mentioned will automatically come. They'll automatically this one. So these 10 steps that was mentioned in 13 and 14, I realized the one who is completely merged in the Parabrahman will automatically will not, he will not have hatred to anybody. He will not have, he'll be completely self-controlled. He'll be completely firm in his conviction. He cannot be shaken easily. He's equanimous, and all those characteristics come automatically. And then when you go on, it'll get your basically it will show in your life how you are doing it. So there is something where I was reading the Aproksha Nibudi again, going back through the 15 steps there and how it was described, and this came. There's also one other thing which I came across very recently. You may have heard about this guy who climbed the Taipei Tower completely without any the Alex Honnold. And there was an 18-minute uh, interview with CNN. It was published on CNN. And when I was listening to the interview, it was like goosebumps. Absolutely. Because he essentially was explaining how you must focus completely on what you have to do. And he discriminated between the consequence and risk. He says the consequence of what he's doing is huge. I mean, one mistake, you lose your life. But he said actually the risk is not there. Once you have done it, once you have practiced, once you have studied the thing, and he said a building is actually very easy because it's completely geometric. You just keep repeating. When you have climbed natural rock faces where every hold is different, then the building actually becomes very repetitive. They said, but then, if you make a mistake, he said, I put that out. I am not concerned about that. I'm only focused on what I am doing. And that is absolute karmaneva adhikaraste in action. It was like, listen to that interview. It was quite amazing. And you realize that once you get completely merged in the Parabrahman, all these other things automatically follow suit.
Okay. Parthada, you want to add something here?
Yeah, I went through verses 15 to 19. I got a different perspective for myself because so far I was thinking that, okay, my love towards my Lord is unadulterated and that is good enough. So in Bhakti Yoga, Sri Krishna is, of course, talking about a true devotee to love him with all devotion. That is there. But in 15 to 19, he clarified that this alone is not enough. If you want to be truly dear to me, so he added certain steps. And we have to keep on focus all those steps, and they're not easy. They have to be practiced. One, he says, not doing any evil to anyone,
Meter
to
reading.
anyone.
Meter reading.
Remaining unaffected in the face of all miseries. See, seems very easy, but very difficult. Giving up sensual pleasures, becoming selfless, bearing no hatred towards anyone. So if you do all this, also you will become very dear to me. So I got caught in that trap a little bit. So I thought maybe I have to focus a lot of my energies towards these. So that's what was my learning from these 5 shlokas.
Very nice. So, if you remember, the construct of the way the Bhagavad Gita is constructed, we are looking at a bridge between chapter 11 and chapter 13. Chapter 13 is where we completely start into Asi, which means how do we connect? How do I understood from chapter 1 to 6 how what this world is. I have understood from chapters 7 to chapter 11. I have understood this entire what this Jagat is. And now I have to start processing these two to understand that these two are one and that I need to connect. Move from apparent multiplicity to at least duality, and from duality to unity. Step-by-step approach, right? So I'm saying multiplicity, which is Dvaita, to duality, which is Vishishtadvaita, to oneness, which is Advaita. These 3 steps, I have to progress. So the bridge is certain changes in behavior that we need to bring in. Now, when I use this, when I do this in corporate training, as a corporate trainer, I normally talk about this particular chapter, not exactly by quoting this chapter, because people will then get very confused as to whether this is corporate training or philosophy being taught. But just 1 second, please. So I normally talk about this in saying that, do we set out goals of what my behavior should be? Now, I will take on with the example of this person who climbed the Taipei Tower. And since you brought it up, Raghuji, and I want to distinguish between 2 things. One is something they're commonly very misunderstood: risk and danger. Right? What is risk and what is danger? Now, danger means basically it will cause damage. It is an objective threat, something that can cause harm. Whether I acknowledge it or whether I don't acknowledge it, it will cause harm. Right? There is a tiger in the room. It can definitely cause harm. There is a live electric wire. It can definitely cause harm. Risk is, however, a choice. It is a choice which has been made in the presence of uncertainty. So, example, winter is about to pass through especially in the northern hemisphere and in the higher latitudes. Winter is about to slowly move away. Ice on the lakes will be thinning. There is a board which says thin ice on a lake. Is that a danger or a risk? It's a danger. But I choose to drive across this lake. I have taken a risk, correct? I have displayed a certain behavior. I have exercised a choice. Now, this choice of behavior exists with us under every situation that we face in our life. And every situation, therefore, at a spiritual level has a risk of either pulling us down or a consequence of pushing us up. Every situation. It doesn't matter what that situation is. And therefore, here, when we look at the Bhagavad Gita and we look at chapters verses 13 and 14, we are looking not at qualities. And I will repeat this statement again when we talk in chapter 13, that we are not listing out qualities. We are listing out goals. We are listing out the sort of behavior that should be practiced. I may not be adveshta, right? I may not be sarva bhutanam maitraha. I may not be karunamayaha. I may not be nirmamaha. I may not be nirahankaraha, right? I may not be kshami, but can I try to be? The goal, the pathway of goal of behavioral change has been put to me. And again, I do this in the classroom also, and I do this here. And in saying that the goal is not in my hands, right? But the choice of changing my behavior is in my hands. I choose, because I tell the intellect to tell the mind and the body where to go. I am the consciousness. I choose. I don't allow the external world to determine, oh, the grass is greener on that side. So now one horse will say the grass is greener on one side, the other horse will say the grass is greener on the other side. My eye wants to look at one very beautiful woman. My nose wants to smell the rose. My tongue wants to taste a rasagulla. I have got lost. I don't know what to do. All my indriyas are running here and there. Instead of that, I have told my indriyas, no, focus back and come back to this particular sense. Go to this particular direction. Go to in this, whatever be that. So that beautiful analogy of the Kathopanishad and also in the Bhagavad Gita that we have seen, that applies here again. And see, we are going back to chapter 2. And I always say this, after we have finished the entire 18 chapters, the only chapter that you need to keep reading again and again and again is chapter 2. With obviously cross-reference to all the other teachings that have happened and the explanations that have happened. But chapter 2 has completely summarized. So again, he's saying here, Adveshta, Sarva Bhutanam Maitra Karuna Evacha, Nirmamo, Nirhankara, Sama Dukkha, Sukha, Kshami. Now again, not equanimous in face of all miseries, equanimous in the face of all dukkha and sukha. And while in the face of dukkha, sometimes it is easy, because you will have moral support. Some people, let us say that you lose somebody who is very dear to you. That person has left the body, has gone on. And that is the time when that Markat Vairagya, Smashana Vairagya will take over. Right? People will come, they will tell you nothing, everything is Maya, body is Nashwar, all of that. And there will be some support system. But just imagine you have won a lottery, or you have become a grandparent, right? And your grandchild has come and they started playing with you, and you're still in the same state. And I'm talking of small incidents. I'm not talking of saying great incidents that would happen and okay, now I know this is a great incident, I should control myself. I'm talking of everyday incidents that happen. The food that was served to you was very nice, warm, unctuous food that was very pleasing. And you say, oh, this is for my tongue, not for me. And the food the next day can be that it was very bitter. It was burnt. Right? It had too much salt.
You always tell that whatever you get, eat it as a prasadam. So
Correct.
That each and every time that applies in my life. So whenever I got this prasada today in my plate.
And that is why we say, Brahmarpanam Brahmahavi. And then we say, Annapurne, Sadapurne, Shankara Pranavallave, Jnana Vairagya Siddhyartham Bhiksham Dehicha Parvati. When you're eating, even I eat with that Jnana and I Vairagya, not attached to the food, not attached to the taste that I am eating. So that is what has been done here. Let us look at verse number 15. Let us start from there. Yasmanno dvijate loko, yasmanno dvijate loko, lokanno dvijate chayaha, lokanno dvijate chayaha, yasmanno dvijate loko, lokanno dvijate chayaha, harsha marsha bhayodveghe, harsha marsha bhayodveghe, mukto yasa cha me priyaha, mukto yacha me priyaha, harsha marsha bhayodveghe, mukto yacha me priyaha, yasvanno dvijate loko, lokanno dvijate chayaha, harsha marsha bhayodveghe, mukto yacha me priyaha, yasman, by whom, na udvijate, agitated, lokaha, people, lokan, from people, na udvijate, not disturbed, cha yaha. Now this I find very interesting. Some of us have worked in the corporate world, so you will find that you have a boss and you are not bothered by the boss. You are not bothered by the boss, right? Second part of the verse. Lokan na udvijate. You can't bother me. I will do my work. You can come and shout, I don't bother. But then you look at your own behavior and you say, you are disturbing everybody else. You are causing disturbance around you, right? Physically, mentally, spiritually, everything. You come late, you make a noise, you cause disturbance in general. Right? So, and sometimes we see that, right? I don't understand my own behavior and I don't see how much disturbance am I causing to others. Now go back again to earlier verses where he says that a person who has attained becomes compassionate. He understands the pain of others. Correct? We saw that earlier. Empathy was an incident and was a very underpinning emotion or quality of those realized masters. Narsi Mehta says, Vaishnava janato tene kahiye peeda parayi jane. Peed means peeda. He who knows the pain of others. Vaishnava janato tene kahiye peeda parayi jane re. He who is a Vaishnava. Vaishnava, what is a Vaishnava? He who knows Vishnu. He who knows Vishnu. What is Vishnu? Vishnu is that which permeates everything. And therefore, Gurudev used to use this example, saying that while, you know what, I got something in my eye. Oh, just a minute. And while I was doing this, and suddenly my finger poked my eye. Now, do you take a knife and you cut the finger? You don't. Why? Oh, because this is my finger and my eye. Now, if I look at this entire world and say, this is also me, can there be a duality? Can there be a distinction? I remember I'm going back to 1980 and we were talking about this. We were to do this Taittiriya Upanishad classes. And Gurudev had not come by at that point of time. And we were to start. It was 15th of August. And the Acharya there, he gave a beautiful speech. And he talked about the fact that political freedom is only the basic freedom that is required. We are jumping around on 15th August saying we became free, we became free. No, we have only become politically free. After that comes a level of what is called economically free. Then there is intellectual freedom. And then finally there is spiritual freedom. At that level, then there is no country, there is no person, there is no individual, there is no physical shape that is there. That freedom, that to achieve that is a lot of journey, from political. But yes, you require political freedom to be able to get there. These are not independent of each other. They are all steps one by one. You are not allowed to do certain practices. You are not allowed to do all of that can impact how your growth of a nation, growth of a people, growth of you as an individual can happen. So here we are talking of na udvijate. Others, don't disturb others, nor do you get disturbed by others. It's a question of empathy. How empathetic are we about our own behaviors impacting other people? Do we examine that? Do we introspect about that? Do we think about saying, oh, if I could have said this a little differently, would it have made a difference? That is the goal that we want to set. He has given you a goal. Oh, don't get disturbed by others, don't disturb others. But how do I apply it? I apply it through introspection and say, this, my behavior impacted these people in this manner. Correct? Then he says, harsha, amarsha, pleasure and pain. Harsha, amarsha, bhaya, udvega, fear and anxiety. Muktaha. Muktaha. Again, let us look at the difference. What is the difference between fear and anxiety? Anybody, please?
Fear is the perception of potential harm by an existing dangerous object. Anxiety, on the other hand, is something that has not happened. It is the perception of potential harm by something that might happen, doesn't exist yet.
Very good. Very good. So you're absolutely right. Fear is objective. Fear is objective, right? A car has swerved towards me. Fear is instinctive in my survival skill. Fear is instinctive. If I don't have that fear, then I will wait there and the car will come and hit me. Correct? If a dog which is frothing in the mouth has started running towards me, I better start running or better start getting into some place where it cannot reach me. Now, if I don't have that fear, then I am losing out on the survival skill of maintaining this body, which is also one of the duties of me. It is my duty to maintain this body because this is a vehicle. So, fear is objective. Anxiety is imagined. What if? Now, we live in both these fears. Anxiety is also a type of fear. Let us put it like this, right? So, one is objective fear, one is subjective fear. And we live with both of them. What he is saying is, you don't give in to the fear, but you respond to the fear in a proper way. And with amarsha, with udvega, you don't give in to it at all. You don't think about what if at all. You do now. Now, again, these are behaviors that we can implement in our day-to-day basis. That is what he's talking about, right? So he's talking about the fact that you are saying those who are free from udvega, those who are free from bhaya, those who are free from harsha and amarsha. That duality we have crossed a number of times, so I'm not getting in there. They are dear to me. What does this dear to me mean? Now, this is difficult. What is dear to me? Me priyaha, dear to me. What does dear to me? What do we mean by that? Right. Can only go wrong, right?
In fact, I have a problem with this way of phrasing this thing because I believe it has created a lot of how do you say, oh, he likes me, he doesn't like me, that kind of thing. I would rather say, when you say he's dear to me, he is approached to me. He and I, the difference is dissolving. It doesn't exist anymore. When somebody has all these qualities, then that distance, that difference between the two of us dissolves. I would rather put it that way than to say he's dear to me. Oh, you have to please the gods, so we got to do this. I somehow I've always had the problem throughout the way in And I fully understand why, because in Krishna's mind, he is not anything other than Parabrahman. So when he says I, he means Parabrahman. But I just have a problem with this way of presenting things.
Okay. Any other answer? Any other thought?
I think Krishna here is trying to say that this is what, if you can achieve, this is one divine quality you are displaying. One of the divine qualities you are displaying. So you are, I like you. You like me, I know. You are my dear devotee. But I also start liking you. So it is that I am thinking.
Okay. See, let us first define, when I say dear, right? When I say somebody is dear to me, what do I mean by the dearness? Yeah, I mean, my wife is dear to me, my son is dear to me, right? Or the house that I live in is dear to me. What am I actually saying?
I'm constantly concerned about their well-being.
Okay.
Attached.
Yes. Attachment is
Other
there.
thing is, if anything happens to them, I am also equally affected.
Okay. But for all of that, the underlying is that there has to be a proximity, right? Not necessarily physical. I'm saying there has to be a proximity. So the moment I say that I am dear to you, or rather, you are dear to me, I am saying that you are proximal to me. Am I correct in making that analogy? Right? Because you are proximal, all the other things will follow. I am also attached to you. I am worried about your well-being, and so on and so forth. Right? Now it doesn't matter what that me is. Whether it is Krishna of Madhava, whether it is the Ananta Shayana of Srirang, is the Ranganatha of Srirangam, or whether it is Parabrahman of Shankara. It doesn't matter. We as Jiva have to attain that proximity. So what can you do so that the proximity starts coming in? Now, this is like saying, how do you open the window? The sun is always there. How do you open the window? If you open the window, the sun will come in. The sun will come in? No. The sunlight will come in. Right? Difference. But see, when I say the sun will come in, does the sun really come in? No. Language prevents us from that connection. But we say the sun is coming in. I am flying to Delhi. Are you really flying? No, the plane is flying to Delhi. Correct? So the proximity, this is called Sayujya Moksha. Sayujya Moksha. Right? Vishishtadvaita, Sayujya Moksha, you have merged. Or what Parthoda talked about. I have acquired certain divine qualities. The qualities of that person have started coming into me. Sarupya, Sarshti. I start displaying the same powers. What are those powers? The powers of grace, the powers of compassion, the powers of empathy, the powers of love. These I have started displaying. So, and you start removing those curtains between the identification, the duality of the body, mind, intellect, and you. So it doesn't matter whether you want to take Raghu's view and say, oh, I don't understand that me, and that me can be different, and me is actually me, or whether you take the me in terms of Parthoda's view and say me is the Krishna of Vrindavan, it doesn't make a difference. What it is saying is, where you are, you need to progress.
Okay.
And as you progress, you will start looking at that me and will achieve that me, whatever you wanted to achieve at. I can take any form. So one day, the Brahmos, one of the Brahmos, I don't remember which one, he had a very intense debate with Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa and say that the divine is formless. So Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa said, but do you agree that he is omnipotent? He said, yes, of course. So, however, according to you, you have limited his potency of the ability to take any form. Right? So, he is omnipotent, but he cannot be with form. The moment you say he cannot be, means you have limited his potency. This person obviously had no argument, because if you say he is omnipotent, he can take that form. Every form can be his. Every form is him alone. There is no doubt about that. So that is the actual meaning of this particular shloka. So generally, this was when we were doing this particular shloka, and this was not Gurudev, somebody else was teaching this, and this particular shloka, and this is not a source of irritation to others. So we all started laughing because that particular teacher, he would be extremely irritating. He would be extremely irritating, right? And he would keep prodding and so on and so forth. So when we were laughing and we were prodding at this particular thing, oh, this shloka is for you, sir. Right? I mean, we didn't say that, but we were mentally thinking, this is for you. You are the one who is causing so much irritation. What was very interesting is, Gurudev walked in at that point of time. And he understood from our expressions and our giggling that we were actually laughing at him. So he said, sometimes it is important for the thorn to prick you so that you will move. Remember that the irritation is what you are experiencing, not what he is doing. It's such a big learning immediately. And see, he created that sense of gratitude for even being irritated, for causing irritation. Oh, I am so grateful that you are causing irritation, because that is helping me to move forward. So what is it about? It is about how I process the external situation, not about what the external situation is, because that external situation is not in my control. How I process it. And that my son applies that all the time. Sometimes I get so-called irritated at him, and I tell him, this is extremely irritating. And he says, you are getting irritated. I am not irritating you. So this is the problem of having a son who has been listening to the... there's a problem of having a son who's been listening to the Bhagavad Gita from the time he's been born. So he can apply the teachings back. Okay, let's do verse number 15. No, this was 15. No, yes, we did 15. Now we will do 16. Anapeksha shuchir daksha. Anapeksha suchir daksha. Udasino gatavyatha. Udasino gatavyatha. Anapeksha suchir daksha. Udasino gatavyatha. Sarvarambha parityagi. Sarvarambha parityagi. Yo madbhakta same priyaha. Yo madbhakta same priyaha. Sarvarambha parityagi. Yo madbhakta same priyaha. Anapeksha suchir daksha. Udasino gatavyatha. Sarvarambha parityagi. Yo madbhakta same priyaha. Anapeksha. Not expecting anything. Some interpretations or some translations have said indifferent to worldly gains, indifferent to worldly benefits. Actually, anapeksha, apeksha means to be expecting. Anapeksha, not expecting anything. Right? Not expecting anything, meaning not expecting anything as a consequence of my action. So I'm ready to do action. I may do action. The action is actually not even being done. It is just happening. Part of my progress of whatever I am doing. So again, what is the behavior? Here we have 99.9999 infinity things that we do are done because we expect something in return. We expect a consequence. And 100% of all our udvega, anxiety, is because of that expectation. So he's also giving you a formula of saying, okay, that is a state of mind that I need you to be in. What is the state of intellect that you should be in so that you can be nirudvaiga is to be anapeksha. Stop expecting. Do your best. Where does he say do your best? Which shloka? Which shloka does it say do your best? No homework
Is that
being
one
done.
he says Udaretatma Matmaram, that
No,
you have to do it by yourself.
That is by yourself. But he says do your best. Yoga karmasa kaushalaha. Right?
Karma Yoga, there he said.
Chapter 2, Sankhya Yoga. Chapter 2, verse
Chapter
number 50.
2, okay.
Verse number 50.
Okay.
Yoga karmasa kaushalam.
Do your best, leave the result to me.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. So he says that. Now he's repeating that here. He's saying dakshaha. He's saying daksha. What is daksha? Do it skillfully. Do everything. Put your best into whatever you're doing. Again, most of the time, when I especially when I look at CA students, and they come and say, sir, CA, very difficult. I didn't do well. I will fail. And I generally ask them, which chapters did you not study? I said, sir, last time holding company aa gaya tha. So this time I chose not to study holding company. Finished. You have not done your best. Your best means you have to study the entire syllabus. Otherwise, you are saying, I will leave this to luck. Oh, last time holding company did not come, so this time holding company will come. And then holding company does not come, and you spent a whole bunch of time only studying holding company. You forgot amalgamation and mergers. See, doing your best is very simple. It says, am I applying my body, mind, intellect, all of it right now here? One of my teachers, somebody who taught me training, one very elderly gentleman who was ex-LIC, he is Mr. Khushru, Kashmiri Pandit. He used to start the class by taking an attendance and then would ask, are you all here? So we would all say yes. So then he said, no, 33% of you is thinking about what you ate last or what you did in the last hour. 33% of you is thinking about when will lunch come? What will be there for lunch? Only 33% is here. Please, that at least keep here. Stop your mobiles. Now, when you look back in terms of what I am talking here and what he was saying, dakshaha. And now go back one word. It's a shuchihi. What is shuchi? Purity. What purity? Purity of what? Purity of intention. Purity of intention. See, the purity is not about physical purity. Yes, physical purity is important in the initial stages of how you start your sadhana. We saw that in chapter 6. Right? Shucho Deshe, he says, sit in a clean place. Because at that point of time, I'm still worried about the dualities. This is good, this is bad, this is pleasure, this is pain. All those are still there in my mind. So therefore, sit in a clean place. It will help you. In that stage, Shuchi is important. Now at this stage, why is Shuchi important? Shuchi here is purity of intention. I am doing this with the no intention of personal benefit. Anapekshaha. All of these words are linked. Yes, Raghuji.
Yeah, so there is a subject I never liked in mathematics was statistics and probability and statistics, because it took me a long time to understand. Now I look at everything in the light of everything I've been learning for the last several years, and I see the absolute wisdom. See, we do have something, when we have a situation, we have something we call an expected value. That is based on this situation as it exists. This is what it was. And then what is our effort? Is to shift that expected value towards the objective that we want. That is, make our expected result more expected. Okay. We always know when we are doing probability statistics that never is the probability of the adverse outcome zero. The probability of the outcome is maybe infinitesimal, but it is still there, can still be, which means whatever has been done, you could still have an adverse outcome happen. You accept it in mathematics when you're studying it. Why can we not accept it in life? Our effort should be to shift that expected value in our favor. But then, if the thing doesn't happen, then we accept it and we carry on effort. If that outcome is still required, then we have to still keep on putting the effort in. In mathematics we could accept it because it is some other subject. But when we come to our own life,
because mathematics is not me. See, that me, I, comes in here, no? The moment you put life and you're into the picture, that I comes in. And the moment that I comes in, immediately everything gets disturbed. That's the dislocating factor in all mathematical equations. So he says in this particular shloka, he gives us again a set of behaviors. Anapeksha, Ruchi, Daksha, Udasina. Udasina, the word udas in Hindi has become a tatsam shabda, which basically means sad. But it's not actually sad. In Sanskrit, it means he who is unaffected by consequence. Right? It means unaffected by consequence. There is an akhada out of the 13 akhadas, the 13 smarta akhadas. There is one of the akhadas is called Udasina akhada. Right? Udasina akhada. The Udasina akhada does not mean that they are all sad and sorry and sitting there weeping. No, they are unaffected by what is going on around them. That is the meaning. So Udasina, unaffected by what is happening outside. And then he comes into very, very, and he says, Gatavyataha, untroubled by so whatever happens, he is Udasina and he is Gatavyataha. Vyataha means being troubled in both senses, positive and negative. Why positive? Because every joy is the source of the next sorrow. Right? Dukkha yoneyaha, he says, isn't it? He says that every sukha is a yoni of dukkha. We've seen that earlier. So Marley, my cat, is a very source of great joy. Every morning at 3:30, if I have not woken up for meditation, he is my alarm bell. He will come and bang his head against me, giving me a lot of love and affection. And he wakes me up. And then I give him some food. And then I sit down for my meditation. He is very happy. He is happy. I am happy. Right? But he has another 7 years to live. And given averages of today's life, maybe I will live a little longer than him. So when he passes, when he gives up his body, I will feel sad because I have an attachment. So every sukha is the source of a dukkha. He has very clearly said that. So gatavyataha is not only being affected by, not affected by sorrow, but also not affected by pleasure. Not affected by pleasure. Right? Yes, Veenaji.
So these all things are explained in the chapter 2 of Chitta Prajna.
Yes.
How he illustrates. Isn't it related to the same thing?
So
or in this chapter?
No, so chapter 2 is the summary chapter. Everything that we will do from chapter 3 to chapter 18 is there in chapter 2. All of this chapter 3 to chapter 18 is nothing but an explanation. right? For example, actually, in the Brahma Sutra, there are about 400 plus 500 almost verses. In the first 4 verses, the entire Brahma Sutra has been explained. When we did the Brahma Sutra classes, we only did 4 verses. The rest of it now you can read. And you can keep reading and you can keep understanding and you will get into more details and so on and so forth. But the entire, so that is how all scripture has been written. It starts from the highest level. Even in Bhagavad Gita, if you look at chapter 2 and look at verses number 11, 12, whatever, 10, 11, 12, where Sri Krishna starts speaking, he has explained the entire theory over there in the first 3 verses. The rest of it is chapter 2 explanation. And the whole of the Bhagavad Gita, rest of it is for explaining it to duffers like you and me. Because we don't understand it so simply. Right? So, he says, Udasina, Gatavyathaha. Now he gives a difficult one. Sarvarambha Parityagi. He does not start anything. Right? Sarvarambha. He does not start anything new. What does this mean? Oh, then should I, if I am sadhak, then should I not go to Kailash Yatra? Am I not starting something new? What is this then? So, Sarvarambha Parityagi is a very interesting concept. It says that such a person, he now attains that particular state where no action is initiated by him. Actions which were existing in the past have propelled the actions now and they continue. Which means as long as the prarabdha has not finished its impetus, there is some action that is keeping on happening. But no new action is generated. No new action is generated. Because there is no more expectation. And we just now said, right, 99.99 infinity, all actions are done through expectation. Now there is no expectation, so there is no further action that is happening. So will he not stop working? No, he will continue to work. Why? Because the body has continued to work. It has an impetus. The ball has been thrown. It will carve out that particular parabola because of gravity. Right? The bullet has been shot, the arrow has been shot, has been left from the bow. It will continue irrespective of the fact that, I discharged the arrow, but now I think that it is not an elephant, but it is a young Brahmin who is filling up his water pot. Sorry, the arrow will hit. And you will get the curse. All of you know the story, right? Mm-hmm. I'm talking of Raja Dhrtarashtra. He shot the arrow and he said, oh my God, I made a mistake. And he ran behind the arrow. Now, unlike Rajinikanth movies, he could not run faster than the arrow and catch it. So, your prarabdha is forcing him to do. Now, did we see this in earlier? Yes, we saw this, where we said that he understands this play as nothing but an act, the play of karma and gunas. And he becomes an observer. He becomes sakshi. Right? In chapter 13, we will see that again. You will see him as drishta. We will see that when we come to chapter 13. So he will explain that even further. So here we are seeing that he becomes actually, if there is an example here, beautiful example. The Ma Anandamayi, she would be sitting somewhere in Murshidabad and suddenly, out of the blue, she would just get up and say, we are going to Devghar. Right? And everything around her would have got to pack and everybody would run. But she would have started. She would start moving. Not bothered by whatever is happening behind her. The entire ashram has to be packed up. Somebody has to start running behind, overtake her and go in front because she is going to come. All of that. I'm not bothered. She just starts moving. So in her biography, it says that she used to call these khayal, whim, the exact meaning of khayal is whim. Oh, suddenly one whim comes and I act on it. I am not bothered about where the whim came from, what is the consequence of that whim, why should I examine that whim? No. It is just a play. It is a play. So that is where he talks about this particular meaning, where he says, Sarva, yes, Parthuda.
Samir, I want to ask you a question here. It's a funny question. I would have asked Krishna if I met him ever, that if 15 to 19, you talked about so many qualities, very difficult. So if I achieve, say, whatever you have said in 16, I put all my life, efforts and I achieve this, do I become 20% dear to you? Or I still become 100% dear to you?
So, firstly, I don't think Krishna classifies 20%, 20%. I think, but we can do that. We can do that mathematics. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Five shlokas. So 20% each shloka. Let's do that way. Right. Okay. That's one way to look at it. It's an interesting way. I haven't thought of it that way. I look at it from a very holistic perspective, Parthoda, and say that these are a whole set of idealistic situations that I believe can be achieved by any human being who wants to achieve them. And even I understand that you were saying this in the lighter vein, but I'm saying that even if I even start applying myself towards that, will my personal life, even in my dualistic, materialistic world, become better? Yes. I will become more pleasant to the people around me. If people around me are more pleasant, they will become more pleasant towards me. Now dvijate, and I don't get to udvega because of other people. Such a pleasant state of being. Oh, you can come and call me names, I will not get disturbed. And in general, because I don't get disturbed, people don't disturb me, I also don't cause disturbance. Oh, life around me becomes easier. People want to approach you. So these are all small steps, but I think overall, it's such a beautiful chart, isn't it? It's a chart of how to progress in both material life and spiritual life. Life around me, people will be happier. I will be happier. As long as I'm stuck in this problem of happy and sad, at least I will be happier, more happier than sadder. Yes, Raghuji.
Here I'll invoke Acharya's, Shankaracharya's thing. And you know that for some reason my mind is drawing a blank, but the verse where he say, if you take a little infinity from it, what is that verse? Suddenly my mind.
So it says, Purnamada Purnamidam Purnata Purnamudachyate.
Yeah.
Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate.
So actually, when I look at each of these aspects, if you just take verse 15 and you take the aspects mentioned in verse 15 and let's say you work towards perfection in all those aspects of verse 15, you will not be 20%, you will be 100%. Because all the other aspects mentioned in 16, 17, 18, 19 will also manifest. They'll also manifest. Because you cannot become 100% in any one of this without actually become 100% in everything. Of course, it's nice to point out one or two things because every individual is different and everyone will look at one aspect and say, hey, I can do that. I think I understand how to do that. And he can use that understanding to get to that perfection.
So that's another way of looking at this and say that, fine, this is a whole bunch of, this is a shop which has opened up. It's a multi-product shop. And I can go and pick up the one that I want to buy, whichever one, and the one that I like or the one that I have a need for, or the one that has an affinity towards me. So I may be working with empathy and I like empathy, so I will work with empathy. Or I may be working with self-control, or I may be working with on compassion, or I may be working at introspection. It doesn't matter. You're right. All of this is interlinked. Why? Because my body, mind, intellect is also interlinked. Today, Western science calls it neuro-linguistic programming and says that, okay, if your intellect works this way, then your mind will work in that same way, and so on and so forth. This is exactly what we were talking about. So,
In
we'll
fact, if you
Yes.
look at it that way, no, even out of all the qualities in one shloka, if you achieve one quality also, you become, see, here who has no wants, khatam, you are desireless. Everything
Correct.
is solved for you.
Correct.
You know. But to achieve that, to be desireless, you have to have a host of qualities with you.
Correct.
You know, so these are so pregnant with so much of meaning.
Correct.
This shlokas. Yeah.
So I think we'll quickly do 17 and then we'll close for today, because although we're over the time, but that's okay. Yo na hrishyati na dveshti, yo na hrishyati na dveshti, sochati na kangshati, sochati na kangshati, yo na hrishyati na dveshti, na sochati na kangshati, shubha shubha parityagi, shubha shubha parityagi, bhakti manya same priyaha, bhakti manya same priyaha, yo shubha shubha parityagi, bhakti manya same priyaha, yo na hrishyati na dveshti, na shochati na kangshati, shubha shubha parityagi, bhakti manya same priyaha. Hrishyati, rejoicing. Dveshti, despairing. No rejoicing, no despairing. Failed the CA exam? Try again. Examine why you failed. Passed the CA exam? Don't jump around. Right? So, accept that with gratitude. So, exactly that is what he's saying. Na shochati, not lamenting. Na kangshati, na ka angshati. Akanksha, from akanksha is hankering. Kangshati, there's a poetic license being used here. Kangshati, not having akanksha. Akanksha means hankering. Akanksha, no, not hankering for gain, nor lamenting. Right? You can see clearly that these are all linked to the earlier. Shubha, shubha parityagi, renouncing both good and evil. Renouncing both good and evil. Renouncing does not mean that he stops doing. He stops seeing them as actions that he is starting. These are things that the body is doing, the things that the mind is doing. Shubha shubha parityagi, such a person. Bhaktiman, such a priya. Ya bhaktimanyaha means bhaktiman. Yaha, together sandhi. Bhaktimanyaha same priyaha. We have seen what that means. Right, let us end here. Next chapter, next session, we will finish all three verses. The week after that, this is 8, isn't it? So 15, 22. 22, we will have a quiz on 1 to 12. 15 will be quiz. And then we will restart. 27, 28, I will not have the class because I will be going for the Veliangiri Summit Yatra. So that week we will not have a session. And then post that, again, we will start in March and we will continue.
So no one has yet taken up my offer.
It doesn't matter.
Maheshji is on the way back. That is the night after we return, he's coming and staying with me. But
no. So okay, I'm sorry, I didn't tell you. Okay, let me stop recording first.